So in this video, you're going to learn how to take an image like this. We have a dinosaur with a lot of stuff in the background. You're going to learn how to mask and crop around the image so you get this. It's just a normal looking dinosaur that you can then put in thumbnails or in your video, and it'll have a transparent background so you can always slap it in whatever you want. Let's put the gaming headphones on, remove my ugly face, and let's open up a new project. Just do 1920 by 1080. It doesn't really matter because we're going to go into the composite shot anyway. Now that we are in the main editor, let's go make a new composite shot. 1920 by 1080 is fine. Open it up. Ooh, look at that. We got it. So now I got two images. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I guess I'll show you. See on my screen now? I got some images. I'm just going to highlight them, drag them into this little box. Boom, they're in. I'm going to drag it, pop it open, put it back there. Hi guys, it's me from the future! I forgot something to tell you. So, if you want this checkered background, most of the time it's probably going to be black. You go to options and you're going to click checkered background. See, it's black. And however, if you do save the picture, so let's say export the frame, and I drag the exported frame in here and I drag it onto here, we'll hide these. You can see it does have a black background. However, it is still a PNG because if I go to here and do checkered background, you can see that. So it does not matter if this is a checkered background or not. However, I like to have it that, so this way I know what I'm exporting is 100% a PNG. So yeah, that's just a quick thing if you want the checkered background. I recommend just doing it. Like, why not? Why would you just have a random black background? But anyway, back to the video. Now I'm gonna start with, I need to do them both, so I'll just drag them both into the timeline. I'm gonna click on one. Find the corner, hold shift. We're gonna rescale size them or resize them down. Click it, hold shift. Now we got that. So I want to do this one because this one I can explain a certain thing I want to show you guys. So we'll put that off to the side. We'll lock it, or we'll hide it, and then we'll lock it. All right, let's remove it. All right, so here we got an image. Now I don't want any of this in the background, right? I just want my dinosaur. So we can immediately just start doing what we gotta do. I guess we could make it a little bigger. It'll be easier. So grab it, hold shift. I want all this stuff. We'll zoom in. I'm gonna drop this down so I get my room to work because I'm only gonna be doing I'm just gonna be working with this. I'm not gonna be working the timeline. So here we have three mask tools. We got the rectangular mask. It does exactly what it sounds like. It makes a rectangle. I'm gonna control Z that to delete it. We have this one where you hold a corner and you could drag it to another corner and you make a perfect circle, or you can get an oval, you know. Again, that's pretty good too. However, the one that I want is this one. This is the freehand mask. This is going to allow us to draw any shape we want. This picture I took has a pretty high resolution. I can zoom in pretty far. I recommend doing that when doing this type of mask. So click the mask, make sure you're selected on your image, and just start going to town. Start clicking on points around your image that you want, and that's really it. Now there's obviously more to it, but we'll get to that in a second. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just quickly mask this entire image. I'll speed it up, I'll show you guys exactly what you can do, and then I'll show you guys some other little tricks you can do, such as you can, actually I'll just show you now. So let's say I want this one to curve, right? I'm gonna right click, I can do lock or unlock. I'm gonna unlock the curve. I can then, you know, drag the, can't zoom in any further, but I can drag in between these masking points to create a even smoother curve. I can also make it back to linear, or I can lock the curve, which will then, I guess, yeah, change both of them. Personally, I don't ever do this because I'm not working with that intense stuff. Like, this type of mask with all these linear points is fine even for a thumbnail. I have not been able to find like an image where I haven't been able to create more points to create a better image. You can get real fancy with those curve mask points and stuff. However, I don't think it's needed. Like here, I could make a perfect curve, or I could just create more points. It does the same thing. So I'm just going to quickly fill in around this entire thing, and then I'll show you guys more of what you can do with once you have the mask. If you want to move the screen without zooming in and out, hold the right mouse button and just drag it normally, and then you'll be allowed to move the picture or image without actually changing the orientation within the viewer. Don't forget to save along the way. You don't want to get messed up. Another thing you can do is if any of these points you don't want, you can control Z, or you can just click on the point that you don't want and then just click delete, and that'll just remove that point. Even though it's pretty self-explanatory, it's always good to, you know, just remind everybody that you can delete points. You don't have to restart the whole mask. Alright, here we go. Boom. Once you connect it, this should happen. If it doesn't, that means you missed a point. Now, before I go into the mask settings and stuff down here, I want to show you guys how to remove this stuff. See, like, I don't want that there, especially this too. So how do you do that? Well. Click on mask again, make sure your image is selected. go to the thing you don't want and do the same thing. We're gonna encase the thing that we don't want. So last time we encased the entire dinosaur. That's the thing I wanted. And now we're gonna do the same thing, but except we don't want this, right? Nothing happened. Go down to the photo in the mask, go to add, and we want to subtract it from the overall image. Same thing with over here. Make sure we click on the image that we want to mask. Make sure we have that selected, the freehand mask tool, and highlight the part that you don't want. Subtract. All right, so now we have our dinosaur. However, I want to show you guys some of the mask effects. So if you open up the mask, we got shape, transform. We also have this invert where we can do the same thing except, you know, remove that or get the opposite side of the image. So if we open up one of the mask things here, drop down, we have some things. We got shape and transform, so we can transform it, you know, we can keyframe it. However, the more important thing is shape, since this is going to be used as a picture. We have expansion, feather, whatever we have these options. What expansion does is it takes the mask that you have and you can expand it in either or direction. So in case you wanted some free room or whatever, you know, you expand it a little bit and it just takes whatever image it has. It just makes your mask a little bigger. That's basically just what it does. Feather comes into play when you want the feather. What is this? Feather strength. Typically I do like a feather strength of like 5 or something, just to make it a little bit more fluffy so it doesn't look as sharp around the edges that we just masked. And I typically do in because I don't want the background to get put into the image. It just gives it a little bit cleaner look. Again, manipulate it, see what you want. Roundness, to be honest, I don't really use it. I don't know exactly what it does. I've never had to use it. You can do that with the rest of them. However, as long as the main image for me is masked, that's fine. Whoops. So yeah, so now that you have the mask, again, you can transform it however you want. You can move it. You can do other stuff, you know. You can copy it. You can make a new layer. You can paste it and you get your mask. You can do a lot of stuff with it, but this is how you make it. Now let's just save it really quick. So to save it, I'm gonna make sure I get it big as possible. Save it. We're gonna go here, options, export frame. Call this superconductor Tyranno PNG. Now what I can do is, here it's on my desktop, drag it in. Let's say I have a background, right? I go to my superconductor, drag it in, boom, now you can see it's a PNG. Also, if you just open it here, you can see it's also just a PNG. So you'll be able to drag it on top of your videos and anything you really want, and it'll be fine. So now that we have that, I'm just gonna delete that. So now I got this guy. Now I'm only editing him. We can still add some effects, you know, drag some effects on him, make him look a little bit spicier. Ooh, let's make that, I want to make that yellow pop. Actually, I want that purple to pop. Magenta? Yeah, magenta. Boom. That's really all I can think about when editing a mask. It's pretty simple and it's so effective. Again, you can get really complicated with clicking on the mask points and changing the roundness to them, but I don't see that to be, like, if you really want to get into it. But again, if you're doing thumbnails and stuff, I don't think you're gonna need to go that in-depthly with it. You could just add more points to get what you need. So yeah, that should basically be all that you need. Again, if either add or subtract don't work for you and you want to mess around with these, like replace. So here's one thing actually. Let's say I had this. Let's say I had his face, right? And I had it on add, but now let's say I make another one. I'm like, ooh, or I click on the image and I want this. Just so I click replace, and it'll just delete everything else except for this one. Remember, you can also drag and move the frames, do whatever you want. I kind of messed that one up, but I guess I'll just make it linear. So if you accidentally click on one, you're like, whoa, what's this doing? Click it, linear, boom. So yeah, if I click on this again and I want, you know, I don't want that, I want that. And so replace, what replace does, it just replaces everything, obviously. Same thing as deleting them. You got these options, you just mess around just to get the image that you want. But for the most part, all the ones that I use are, I do my whole image, I keep that as add, and then any other things in between, I do I do subtract. This way it subtracts from the main mask, and then I just export that and slap it onto my other pictures that I need. Like always, any questions, let me know below. I think that should give you enough to start making some cool thumbnails and getting some cool PNGs. Make sure you save the PNGs. And if you have an image, you know, of like, let's say you have like 20 things in here, just hide all the images and then just get your guy here and export that, and then you can re-add all the images. Just don't forget to save these, because you never know if you're gonna need them again, and you already put in all the work. So, all right, thank you for watching. Any questions, let me know below. I'll be happy to help, and see ya.